Hello, welcome to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, bitches. Eid Mubarak, belated Eid Mubarak, belated Hajj Mubarak, belated Happy Independence Day for India, Pakistan, and yeah, whatever. Hi, it's Zara Ali.
And Pallavi Ganalin.
Hey, I'm Fizaa Dasani.
Fizaa's a little tired.
I just came back from a pilgrimage to Mecca.
Which is why we decided to have just the three of us do the podcast, because we have so much to catch up on. We haven't seen Fizaa. Well, we saw her last night, but we haven't seen her in like 2 weeks.
I saw you guys 13 hours ago.
Yes.
Yes.
But it feels like forever.
Does it?
I don't know.
Fizaa, can you explain what Hajj is?
It feels like 14 hours. Hajj is a medieval pilgrimage.
Okay. Wait, whenever I think medieval, I think white people and those big things of like turkey legs.
Well, they were the only people alive in that
Dark
era.
Ages?
They were the only ones cast in those period pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Only white people existed during the Dark Ages.
Although
apparently.
I'm so
Heath
grateful to be
Ledger.
back in America. I'm so happy to be back.
Welcome
you have no idea.
Welcome back to America.
I'm actually really grateful for the trip because I think having certain human right or the absence of certain things, you know, I'm able to appreciate them in a different way.
She suffered.
Yeah, I can say sex jokes out loud.
You can wear shorts. You can show your baby hair.
My baby hair. I got checked so many times for my baby hair showing.
Well, while you were wearing your hijab and everything.
Because but the thing is, culturally in India and Pakistan, we show baby hair. Like it's not, but in a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, it's like you have to tuck it. There's like, you don't see one hair.
I bet that causes them to have like a receding hairline underneath all that. Because whenever you pull it back in a tight ponytail, they say don't do that either because it'll pull the front hairs out.
Having said that, I feel like everything I say like can be perceived as disrespectful because like Islamically, it's sort of just culturally.
Yeah, I feel like my intro
touchy.
was disrespectful, and I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. It was just a greeting.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun, and that's the thing is I feel like culturally in a lot of there's like it's like fun's not allowed.
True, I agree. Fun is not allowed in Islam.
You're not going to change hearts and minds if you're too serious about it, though. You should make if you are religious and you are a devout Muslim and you want to encourage more people to practice, then you should make it more fun.
Well, okay, I've actually been to a mosque in LA, and someone was there. Like they have different speakers, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay, they think virgins are what incentivizes men to make good moral choices that align with their whatever. But, there are other speakers who talk about like more progressive people who sort of go to the root of like every religion. This is the tradition you identify with because you were raised in it. What's the truth in it? Oh, love and be kind to people.
Yeah.
So sort of that thing where like I was criticized for posting a picture where I look like Raiden during my Hajj because I had like a safari hat on, right?
Yeah.
Raiden is the character in Mortal Kombat. So a Muslim man, and he was respectful. He felt disrespected. He felt like I was being disrespectful. And I get that because half the shit I say, I'd cringe. My parents would cringe because they'd feel like I'm being disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But he was offended. He thought I was making fun of the hijab. I wasn't. The crux of the joke was the hat. But like you see, like it was just it was some funny shit, and it was just taken.
People are so quick to get offended. Like they don't even stop to question. Like, all right, well, what is this? No, I'm automatically offended. Whatever you're doing offends me. I'm not even going to try to understand it.
It's subject based, not idea based.
Yeah.
And like Zara, like I don't know if you identify, but I want to, as someone who was raised in that culture who loves people who identify as Muslims, like I want to, be a positive representative of that. But I feel like, it's a big burden to represent a traditional belief that I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
I'm more about like find your own way,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm always conflicted because in one way I want to be, people, I don't know why people do this, but people think of us as role models because there aren't a lot of people like us doing this.
Yeah.
Not so many of us are pursuing entertainment or, are out there like even being honest to themselves or in front of hundreds or thousands of people on stage, So in that way, it's like, all right, well, whatever I say might go back to my parents or might go back to my community and everybody I respect, I'm not going to come up here and like just defame this entire Muslim community from Jersey because I learned a lot from those people and I think they're great people and kind-hearted. But at the same time, you guys caused a lot of torture in my life throughout my childhood, so I can talk about that.
Traumatized.
It's like you can make fun of it, but if like other people do who are outside the culture, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to like condone them making fun of it without understanding it.
Yeah. Like I definitely had the aunties growing up at the mosque that are like, yeah, don't talk to boys. Why are you talking to boys? And I'm like, what? He called me a name.
Oh, actually,
I was defending myself.
In my life, boys told me not to talk to boys. So same thing.
Dude, we would get into fights because, like I've always had like this voice and like boys would make fun of me and I would spit in their face, So, but like I'm wrong. I'm wrong for sticking up for myself. Because like, I'm a girl and girls don't do that. And I shouldn't be talking to boys in the first place. But then why are these boys, why aren't they getting in trouble?
That's so funny because how I was raised was like my mom was like, if someone does something to you, you come right back.
My mom said that, but I never like enacted it. Like I was too scared to because of things I'd seen at like home and in other relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
So they would always be like, someone tells you that, you tell them that right back. And I'm like, they said something about me being brown and they're white. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it doesn't always match.
But everyone's version of Islam is going to be tailored to the individual. Everyone thinks their version is right. And you know what? It is for them.
Yeah.
So
this was, I had an argument with my family in India one time when I went back and
You had an argument, just one?
One that stands out in particular, because.
You know how there's like a battle in a war?
Yeah.
So this was
one of many.
This was the Bhagavad Gita of the Mahabharata if you're talking about Hinduism.
Wait, what?
It's one book out of many books.
Got it.
But it's
Are you confusing Hinduism with Islam?
no, I'm just repping my culture too.
According to a lot of our comedian friends who don't know, they're like, it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So I was in an argument with my family, my immediate family. My brother, my dad, and I are like basically atheist, and my mom, I would say, is agnostic. Like she believes in some power, but doesn't know what it is.
Atheist by intelligence.
Yes, thank you. No, sorry, mom. I guess I don't know, but I was in India by myself without my immediate family, and we were discussing religions, and the whole argument started because my family is Hindu. There's been a lot of violence between Muslims and Hindus in India and Pakistan, and they feel very triggered by it. And they were saying that I was like, I'm an atheist. And they were like, we started talking about religions. And then they were like, yeah, well, Islam is the most violent religion or the worst religion in the world.
Who said that?
Family members of mine. And I started getting so mad at them. I was like, it's not the documents, it's the people. And it's like anybody can interpret anything in a violent way or in a peaceful way.
Is this from their personal experience?
Yeah, some of them had lived in like Saudi and Kuwait and Dubai and stuff. And whenever, this is the point that I was trying to make, is when I said, yeah, those people are Muslim, but also my friends from Caltech, my friends from undergrad, those people are also Muslim. And they're both, and like there's over 1 billion Muslims in the world. There's so many that are peaceful, so many that are hella chill, and you can't, and they were arguing that those people aren't real Muslims. Like the American Muslims aren't real Muslims. And I'm like, you can't say that.
Yeah,
you don't have the authority
because
to.
the people might identify as progressive Muslims.
Yeah, and that's still Muslim.
Then do you challenge them?
That's how they identify.
At that point, do you challenge them on how Hindu they are?
Yeah, I mean,
like, who's to say, like, if you believe in a certain religion or if you identify as a certain religion, who is someone else of another religion?
That's almost attacking.
That's what I'm saying.
It's attacking Islam because you're saying fundamental Islam is the only type of Islam, and that's
and you're
incorrect.
refusing to see the rest of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a type. It's a type that I don't.
But there are fundamentalists in every religion. There are hard asses in every religion.
Well, that's dogma.
Yes.
And then there's the essence of religion, and then there's the government structure that uses religion to control people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the dogma.
Yep.
if man said it, then it's like, what does it have to do with,
we don't trust men here.
Or anywhere?
Nope. I don't trust him at work. I don't trust him here. I don't trust him in religion. I don't know, man.
It's just a time where we can shit on men and white people. It's so like I've never been able to make jokes about men and white people so easily, just like out loud. I feel like it's gonna like 10 years from now, it's PC culture is gonna change and like this shit's gonna like
come back to bite us.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
I don't know.
I am tired of making those jokes. I wish we could just move past these struggles so we could just talk about ideas that are more interesting.
Talk about ideas.
I mean, like, but we can't, it's like not seeing color. Like, you have to see it in order to move past it. Or like to move past the struggle of
the middle
Guys,
path. The middle path. Talk about both.
Speaking of the middle path, there's an entire portion, like the middle of the country, that does not want to hear your white people jokes. Yeah. They don't want it. It like triggers guilt in them, and they're tired of it. I mean, even on the coast, people have political fatigue right now. You know, it's like race wars. Like no one, like we know things are bad. You know, white, black, brown, whatever. Like I think we should talk about ideas. You know, because at the end of the day, I think those ideas are going to bring us together.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience? Because we kind of we didn't go over what you did there, though.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Hajj is a pilgrimage.
Well, we went on a journey. We went on our own little Hajj.
Yeah.
Our little revolution around some other thoughts and ideas. And now we're back to Hajj. And I had to do that 21 times. I had to circle the Kaaba 21 times.
The Kaaba is a giant stone in the middle.
Yeah, the Kaaba. Well, not the stone. There is a black stone. It's actually a mosque. Or it was built originally as a mosque. I don't think anyone goes in. So I touched it. I went on an off day because the people we went with organized it really well. We like, you know what, I'm going to put it this way. We did like the luxury version of Hajj and it was still extremely hard. People die doing this shit. So like, I mean, there's people like 80-year-olds from Ethiopia who they're using their life savings to sleep on the street to do this rigorous set of rituals going between cities. And there's a lot of walking in really arid, dry, like it's a harsh climate.
Covered for women.
Yeah, and women have to be completely covered. Like we were talking about, the baby hair has to be completely covered.
Didn't you say it was like 110 degrees while you're in the desert?
It was
like
a Celsius
circling this thing 21 times. Right?
Yeah, and it wasn't. We couldn't just do it in one shot. So it's just like it was like, what's the point of taking showers? But before praying 5 times, you have to do wuzu. I have eczema, so it's like my skin doesn't like touching water 5 times a day. Mm-hmm. And then plus every time I go to the bathroom or whatever. So, you know, I sound like I'm complaining, but the thing is I chose to go to this thing.
To appease your parents, right?
Initially to because I care about my dad and it was important to him. So I chose to do that. Also knowing that this is going to be a life-altering experience. I don't know how, because I really should have done more research, but knowing it was going to be difficult. And it was like, I'm still processing. Like, I'm not the same. My energy shift. Anytime you leave LA, your energy shifts, right? But like, I went to fucking Mecca.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that to be disrespectful. That was just more like Mecca's like, you know, like it's Mecca, man. Yeah. Like, not everyone can get into Mecca.
It's true. Only Muslims can get into Mecca.
Or people who look like us.
Hey,
Pallavi, like, throw a hijab and Pallavi be right in.
So that's where they racially profile the other way, right? So if you're Caucasian, you have to show proof that you're Muslim to get into Mecca.
And this is like, I know this is totally wrong. But I always like assume.
Is it though?
I always assume like white Muslim men like have done time in prison.
But what? Why?
Because they're converts from jail.
Yeah. And they're the strongest. Converts are the strongest Muslim. They are. Because so many other people are hypocrites. You're sort of born. I don't know. I mean.
But also the prison system is flawed. So maybe they were in there for wrong reasons. But usually it's black people that are.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Disproportionately.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to move on to addressing...
I do want to one last thing on Hajj. So while you were there, were you like wholeheartedly in it? Did you do everything you were supposed to do, or did you find yourself cutting corners?
Hard. I was writing jokes. I was pissed. Shout out to Punky. She hit me up like randomly.
Punky Johnson, thank you.
Yeah, very funny comedian. She hit me up randomly texted me. I have a text message. I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I was shocked to even get like a fucking text. Do you have an iPhone, Punky? Like, because it was anyway. That's probably how I got your text. If you do have anyway, so. I just was going off. I was furious. Like, I've never worn a hijab for that long. It was 110 degrees. We were sleeping outside. We were walking here, walking there. There were a million people around us. We're like trying to get on a 10-minute subway, train to a city that's supposed to be 10 minutes away.
There's a train there?
It takes 3 hours to get on the bus.
They have a train
there?
They have trains?
It's new. It's like within the last 5-10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They want to expand Hajj to 8 million people. Because religious tourism is it's the biggest rave in the world. Or
I mean, that's their big revenue stream, right? Religious tourism.
It's like number 2 or 3.
Yeah,
after oil.
Who were you mad at?
I was mad because at the climate, because had these expectations. Guys were wearing ihram, which is like 2 unstitched pieces of cloth. It's basically a toga. They couldn't wear underwear, so they were all free balling. Like, so it's just like,
and you're covered in head to toe. In a burqa and
dirty woman skin.
Yeah, my dirty woman skin, which is like, okay, that's the message you're being given to me. But you're making it palatable, quote unquote, by saying it's for piety and modesty and this and that. And it's like, why is the burden, like Pallavi and I were talking earlier, like why is the burden to not get sexually assaulted on women?
Yeah. Because
men
can be basically naked while doing this thing for God.
They don't know how to wear skirts. Yeah. They were man-spreading.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen more dicks in my life than
God.
Hey, I might go on Hajj, though.
Oh, stop
hey, I want to see that dick, though. No, I don't. Please don't DM me. Please don't DM me.
And it's like family.
Ew. Oh, gross. Family uncle dick.
No one wants to see that.
And I've been to orgies.
All right, are we ending Hajj on Uncle Dick? Is that what we're doing? Is that about at the beginning we were all, we don't want to be disrespectful to Islam.
Okay, hold on. I want to say congratulations to Fizaa. You're a Haji now. You went to Hajj.
And there was always question about like, is your Hajj going to accept? Yes, the God of my understanding accepts my Hajj because I dragged my ass over there. I sweat. I got told that I had to sacrifice a goat if I showed my baby hair for my Hajj to get accepted, or feed orphans, which I'll do gladly, or fast from food and water. I'm borderline anemic. Like, that's not. No,
we can't do that.
We'll feed some orphans. But congratulations, you did it.
I did it, and I'm proud of everyone who did it because it was touching that so many people would give up so much. So if you believe that and you find your joy in that, I power to you. I have nothing against people who find peace in Islam. Mm-hmm. I have nothing against that. For me, it's just my understanding of that higher power it has more of my flavor. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Cool. Congrats.
You did it. Hajj. All right.
Okay, we wanted to move on to a message that we received on our Instagram that we thought we should address because it was very well thought out and it was something we hadn't thought about before. So this is, should I just read the whole thing?
Yeah, let's read it.
Hi, Fizaa, Zara, and Pallavi. I just came across your podcast and have been devouring religiously. You've been saving me from 10 long trips in the NYC Metro. First of all, that Metro is way better than LA's.
Shout out to NYC. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Love what you are doing, but I just have a slight fuss. Please don't take this badly. The last question you asked to tell guests about their favorite South Asian celebrity, and you mentioned Desi. Not all of South Asia encompasses that identity. I am from Nepal, and I know people from Sri Lanka and Bangladesh that don't prefer that identity. We are being overshadowed by the Indian identity. I'm only raising this concern because I know all three of you are open-minded. I've never written to any media people ever, but hearing you talk, I know in my heart that you will give it a listen. I don't know if you will see this message, but just wanted to shed a light on it. Love you all. Keep on the good fight. First of all, thank you for calling us media people. It makes us feel real famous.
We love you too.
We love you too.
Thank you so much for reaching out.
And also doing it in such a polite and kind way.
And thank you for the question. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to learn something new because I'm sorry, I've been in this quote unquote Desi bubble my whole life. And I just assumed all of the subcontinent and the neighboring parts were considered Desi.
Well, I thought South Asia was synonymous with Desi. I thought Desi was our word for it, and I didn't realize that people from those countries felt othered by that term.
I think expats here in the U.S., we tend to, there's fewer of us, so we tend to have more in common with fellow South Asian.
There are not fewer of us. There's freaking 19 brown girls trying to do comedy. There's
like-
a lot of us, okay?
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like in India, you're around
Yeah.
a shitload. You like, so
Yeah.
there's a difference.
We cling
between
to each
India.
other like
Yeah.
family. We cling to
Muslims
each
and Hindus
other's.
don't have issues here like that.
Yeah, they don't have as many as
Unless
like,
you try
in the
until you
Sri
try to get
Lankans-
married to each other.
Sri Lankans go to India Association
This is
parties.
true.
You know,
This is
Yeah, we find it like more like all encompassing, and we like I had never heard, like I was always taught that Desi meant like just brown people from Asia.
but you know, he is from Nepal, and I've actually never sort of associated Nepal with Desi.
Oh, I
even though
did.
it's like Desi adjacent.
I did because the food is similar.
I did
Yeah.
just because it's
Yeah.
like I always assume anybody that's like brown, basically.
And we share mountains with them.
Also-
so it's very confusing for me. But then we also share mountains with China, and China, like they're
Yeah.
East Asians or different. So it's very confusing.
I have a family that's like basically from all over India, and like also like some family members that are white that have married in.
Yeah.
and I have like an aunt.
What
that is
generation?
from
Like
my
were
parents'
the whites?
generation. Oh, my parents and mine.
Gotcha.
But I have an
I'm
aunt
thinking
that's
you got white blood, girl.
We all do. We all do.
we all got.
Well, we're
Anglo-
North
the
Indian.
Brits took over the subcontinent, and we all have something in us. I have freckles. Okay,
You do. They're very adorable.
Thank you.
But I have an aunt that's like Assamese, so like I've always associated East India with like Desi, and like that area with Desi culture. So I guess from now on we'll say South Asian because that's what we mean. We mean like everything. Because I also like I'm Tamil, so like there are ties to Sri Lanka there, even though they are sorted. We could probably address that another episode. But
Yeah, we
but
should.
I feel like love for all brown people there, and you guys do too. That's what we mean when we say South Desi celebrity.
Yeah,
we
it's
meant
more
South Asian.
unity. It's more unity based, not like. And I understand the want for identity. 'cause
I'm not going to stop saying Desi. I'm sorry. It's like ingrained
Yeah.
in me, but I mean it as an inclusive term, and I'll apologize at some point, but I definitely do. Like, I think we should, for our listeners, kind of differentiate who's Desi and who's not. Like,
Oh yeah,
officially,
So, I guess like
apparently.
India and Pakistan are considered Desi, right? And then
I know
some
a lot
people-
of Bangladeshi people who identifies that, but I'm sure a lot don't. Because like when you've had to have this separation, it's like you do sort of want your own identity. I understand that.
And then
Yeah.
That's like nationalism,
Yeah, I think with Bangladesh, it's like it's a little bit more sorted and
We're not
complicated.
Pakistan,
Yeah.
because they were
because
Pakistan.
they got independence from
You're
Pakistan.
East Pakistan, okay? All
Ooh,
right.
burn.
Sorry. No, you're not.
They don't even share a border.
You're your own people. No, they don't.
But
They
I think
don't.
when I looked this up though, there were differing ideas. Like sometimes people from Sri Lanka and Bangladesh do like identify as Desi, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So I think I think what we're saying is that when we say, if we accidentally say Desi, we mean South Asian, and we mean it as an inclusive term.
Yes.
Even though some people don't identify.
We
as
don't
that.
want to other anyone.
Yeah.
Or
But we
make anyone
respect your
feel othered.
identity.
Yes.
Because like also, Sri Lanka, Ceylon at the time was its own crown colony. So when India got its independence, Sri Lanka did not until a year later. So I can understand how I understand the want
not
for
the
like
same.
being an individual, and then, the
Yeah.
need like being
That
unity
year,
through
of still being colonized really hurt them, and I understand that.
Oh God.
I understand that.
I am kind
I'm
of bummed.
left out of shit all the time. I get
This
it.
bitch just wants to party. I do
Invite me to your party.
I do get bummed though, because I thought Desi was just our cute word for ourselves, and now I'm like, we don't have an all-encompassing word. We gotta be South Asian.
Can we just be brown?
I never liked that, but
You don't like brown?
I use it now as like a re-ownership of it, but I was always insulted with that. Like people always they would always use it as like, oh, you're like that brown girl, and like it was always associated with something dirty and gross and like what like growing up. And so now like I have that like bad taste in my
It
mouth
made
from
sense for me because like people were black or white, so like
Yeah.
I wasn't really either one of them, so it just sort of fit right in with the vernacular.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
we
it
had Mexicans,
depends.
but like I don't know that. Like, I mean, we had like a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
different people, and we had a lot of Mexicans in Utah, and so like I just noted that when other people called me brown, it was like in a negative way
Okay.
in high school and like
It
elementary
might
school.
also depend on like where you grew up, like Utah,
Yeah.
Jersey, Florida. Like they all have different terminologies for people. People find different things insulting.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So you
like-
prefer Desi.
I do. And
And what is your preference?
They see yourself
Either one. It doesn't
I mean, like
really bother me.
South Asian, I feel like, is maybe more accurate if we're trying to like be inclusive, but like also it doesn't really feel like fully our identity, because when you hear Asia, you don't think India, you don't think South Asia, you don't think Middle East, you don't think Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like, so saying South Asia is sort
people
of like,
forget Russia is in Asia. I don't understand. I've had people, East Asians, comics and other friends, like, you know, just we're talking about like just geography, and they're like, "You're Asian?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm South Asian, you idiot." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know y'all were considered
Middle Eastern or
Asian."
something.
And I'm like, "Yes,
okay,
you don't own all of Asia." Like it's.
There is something that I used to do when I was like growing up. Go to this website called Sporcle, Sporcle. It's a fun website with trivia quizzes. There are a lot of like geographical quizzes, and anytime I'm like, hey, I forgot all the countries in Africa, I just go on there and try to educate myself, and it's a fun way of figuring out what is part of the Middle East and what isn't.
Can we get a sponsorship?
Yeah,
come on, Sporcle.
It's just like, I don't know. It's a fun way for Americans to not look like idiots. Yeah. So you can pick like what continents you want to learn about. So like you can go to Asia and like play a game and figure out what countries are in there and like what their capitals are and shit. But it's literally like I will feel my ignorance creeping up on me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember where countries are.
Things.
All right.
Yeah. So if you're going to ask a stupid question, just Google it. The thing is, people don't always know that they're asking stupid questions.
Yeah, that's true. I don't mind telling people if I have the patience that day. I guess like
I don't know. I've like mixed feelings about stupid questions, because like
if you ask me a stupid question,
it depends
you'll
how I'm
see
feeling.
it. You'll see it on my face.
It's my perception. I perceive it as stupid, but like asking a question is not a bad thing.
Yeah, if it's coming from the right place.
Yeah, you just might have asked me on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Ask. I
feel like any
on a
day.
good day.
Yeah,
any day is a wrong day to ask me a stupid question.
Yeah, don't ask.
Sorry, I don't know why people think you're off-putting.
But I mean it in the nicest way possible. It's fine.
Yeah,
okay, I think we should move on because we have more to talk about.
I will buy you tea.
Zara's album title is "It's Fine."
It's fine.
It's fine. But how do you? We need to communicate the exasperation.
There's like a sigh before. There you go.
It's fine.
You'd be the first like actual audio a title that you can hear.
Yeah.
Like you push the button of the album.
And she's just like, that's gonna be, if I can get you to record that, that'll be my ringtone for you. I'll just take it off this podcast. Okay, I will say for other people who have feedback on this or who have ideas about this or other questions or concerns that you would like to communicate in a respectful manner, definitely like email us or DM us on our Facial Rec accounts, and we'll try to address them in future podcast episodes, because we always want to learn more about our own culture and other people's cultures. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, moving on to Louis C.K.
Oh no! Speaking of Uncle Dick.
Oh my God. Yo, man, I also wonder what his kids think. So basically he
His daughters, right?
Yeah, he has 2 daughters.
I gotta pee.
So he was accused, well, I'll just like recap while she pees. He was accused of sexual misconduct by 5 women. I believe all of them, were in the entertainment industry. Several cases, let me see. So he invited a couple women to hang out in his hotel room for a nightcap after a late night show. And then as soon as they sat down, he asked if he could take out his penis, and they laughed. And then he got fully naked and started masturbating. There was a phone call where they could hear him masturbating over the phone. Someone else declined when he asked to masturbate in front of them. Someone else agreed to it but felt pressured. So this came out in the height of the Me Too. Many of us in comedy knew it was going to happen. Yeah, go ahead.
This was known.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This was completely known. Like it was completely before Me Too. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, I remember Louis C.K. was one of like my favorite comics, like many other people. I watched like everything he did.
He is
I watched
very,
his
very talented.
TV shows. I watched everything. I was obsessed with him. I saw him walk into the Comedy Store. If you're at the Comedy Store and Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle walks in, you fucking run and you're a comic, you run to the room that they're in and you watch them and you absorb everything because you love them, because they're like these geniuses at this craft that you're trying to become better. You want to watch your heroes work.
They're icons.
I saw Louis C.K.'s back as he was walking into the Comedy Store, and I like had this deep sigh, and I turned away and I walked away from the Comedy Store. I knew he was about to go do a set, and I was like, I cannot watch this man. I will never forgive Louis C.K. for ruining Louis C.K. for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I will never forgive Bill Cosby for doing the same.
Well, Bill Cosby was real extra, but like Louis C.K.
Yeah, I would say like 60 rapes is real extra.
But like, check this out though. Like,
that's hella drama, bitch.
Louis, all he has to do, I think, is talk about and take fucking accountability.
Louis is not
maybe make amends in a meaningful way, and it doesn't excuse anything he's done. But I think people can evolve and grow. Cosby,
yes, Cosby is fucking evil.
Well, that's just too. That's like that's the type you just sort of let go. Like sometimes you just gotta let go. Like Cosby,
like there's no redeemability for him because he raped like 60 women.
Well, yeah, personally, I think that's off-putting. Not like Zara level off-putting.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit less than Zara.
I never turned rape into a sport. I never did that. I never did that.
I don't know.
That's because you don't like sports, Zara.
What are you talking about? I love basketball. I do.
Oh, talking about turning rape into a sport.
No, I don't like. Okay.
Okay, wait. Okay, so we went over. So Louis this week dropped into the Comedy Cellar. Was it?
Yes, it was the Comedy Cellar.
He did 15 minutes and he got a standing ovation.
Yes,
he did,
and it was unannounced. Mm-hmm. And the owner or the manager, I can't remember, said that they didn't know that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I think it was a drop-in. He got on stage, did 15.
And apparently he didn't address any of the misconduct controversy. This is the first time he's been on stage since all of this stuff came out. I think the main concern, I don't think like Louis is not the same level as Cosby. There is a range. There is like a difference between coercion, harassment, assault and rape. There are all these levels to it. Louis didn't like rape anyone. We get that, guys. We understand. But also what he did was not right. And he needs to show us that he's not going to be a workplace safety issue.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You know, like you just sort of expected it. Like when I came into the comedy industry here, I was like, well, you know, I wouldn't be super surprised if I saw Louis C.K.'s dick if we happened to be in the same room. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
fucked up that we have to think that.
And it's like it really thickens your skin. Like before Me Too, people would just literally say, "Get over it. You can't do anything."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Verbatim.
I mean, we've seen male comics naked. Just it's
they whip out their dicks on stage all the time, which is like for me. I'm like, okay, on stage is like I'm very like free speech, whatever. You know, like. Try to figure it out.
But like which stage? Like at a cafe? Like at an open mic? Like, you know,
on a show.
I mean, avocado toast and
this
shit?
This happened with, what's his name? Kenny Lyon at the Comedy Store. I mean, he's been banned since then. But
I've heard of other people doing that.
There have been other people who haven't gotten banned.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely happened. And it's happened for the punchline or for the joke. And I mean, sometimes they get away with it. Sometimes they don't. But
Titties got sucked on Roast Battle once.
What? They did?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that day.
Did. But it was
I just saw a photo. I wasn't
consensual, but
I've seen people scissoring in the original room. I mean, clothes on.
There's like a lot of, there's a lot to be said about it's an art form. People are trying to figure it out or whatever. And like when you come to a comedy show, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And as long as like no one's like physically harmed and it's all consensual, it's fine. But like clearly this dude, like it sounds like he just got naked in front of bitches before they could say no. That's what the first paragraph of this New York Times article seems like.
It wasn't a performance. You're like in a, I
bet he thought it was a performance. Do you think as soon as he got naked, it all went to black and white and jazz music started playing?
What if he masturbated on stage? Is that taking it too far?
I don't know.
Is that vaudeville? Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Honestly,
that's
like, what do you?
Kind of a serious question, though. Like, in terms of artistic freedom.
I guess that's what we were talking about before. Like, what is comedy? Is it like if we're going for performance art? Whatever. I feel like that's what that is.
What if it had a really good punchline? Like what if it was funny? It would have artistic value on stage.
It's like, but this is like the risk is there are all these white dudes who say the N-word and none of them have made it worth it yet. Louis was one who got it and got away with it years ago, but I think I've seen that happen a lot and I'm like, oh, that wasn't worth it and it was a risk and you tried it and it made a lot of people feel bad. So it's
I
like,
don't know. I feel I hate saying this, and I'm so tired of saying this. It's just white male privilege, you know? It's just, I mean, Louis gets away with it. I don't think Janet Jackson has made a comeback yet, you know? Like,
What about Kathy Griffin?
or Kathy Griffin? And it's like, what do we have to do? What do women have to do to be forgiven? You know, and I mean, what Kathy did, like, yeah, what she did with putting, you know, kind of symbolizing Donald Trump's bloody head for this image. Yeah, I mean, it was very divisive. It divided people. It was controversial, but she was not like physically hurting someone or assaulting someone.
Yeah.
You know?
and neither Louis didn't either, but
and that was art. That's considered art.
That
like
was the
it was
form of
she was
art.
commissioned to do it. She did it, and yeah, there was conflict and controversy after it. But like she's still not, you know, she's not like back to her old status. And I'm not saying Louis C.K. is back to his old status, but like 9 months in, he's like, all right, I'm just going to go up on stage and do my jokes and not like address anything and get a standing ovation.
That's the entitlement you're referring to, is that he doesn't have to do it.
Exactly.
It seems like.
His
But
penance
there is backlash.
a lot less.
Also, I really liked what Ian Carmel tweeted. He tweeted that he reemphasized, which I think a lot of men in comedy don't understand, is that this is a workplace safety issue. It's not like internet outrage. It's shit that we have seen like happen. You know, like we've all been in situations like this, and it's fucking exhausting to know which men to avoid in comedy. I know so many women who have spreadsheets because we can't remember what everyone has done.
Are these posted somewhere? Because like I feel like there's always somebody new and I don't know, and
it's all spread by word of mouth.
Yeah.
It's people are unwilling to put it out there or publish it because of all the backlash, which is understandable. Like a lot of these names we keep in mind because we don't even want to take the risk of feeling of like being in a room alone with them. So like maybe we don't have all the evidence or whatever, but these names we have to remember because if we've been warned, we don't even want to take the risk of like getting hurt.
I kind of resent just how hardened it made us before Me Too.
Yeah.
Just how so much was normalized.
Yeah, it was normalized. I mean, we
had to suck it up. I mean, if we wanted to be there.
I mean, that was our platform. This is why the Me Too movement just took off, because literally almost everybody I know has multiple stories.
Did you when did you come in, P?
I just had my 2-year anniversary.
No, I mean like in terms of the Me Too movement.
What do you mean?
Like, was it
before or after?
Was it before or after?
Oh, it was before.
Like, so you got a
but I didn't
good taste of.
Yeah, I mean, a month into comedy, I was at a bar with friends and like comic friends, and one of them was like super drunk and he got in a fight and I got a concussion and had the shit beat down to me. And he and I still talked about it on a podcast later because I was still like in this mentality of like, if we talk about it and address it, we'll address the issue. And he was still drinking after that. My elbow is still fucked up from it. I kept doing comedy after that. A few months into comedy, I like dealt with this person who is a comedian that I'm still dealing with the fallout of that over 2.5 years, over 2 years later. And so
he's a horrible person. He called me a 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 10. Oh. The fuck is that? He was like, no. Like,
that's what you say to bother someone.
Like, Amal Clooney is a 10. You're a 5. I'm like, how are you? You are never getting near Amal Clooney. Shut the fuck up.
If he called you a 0, that's like, you'd be like, whatever. He called you a 5 to bug you. Because if 5 is like right down the middle, it was strategy.
Also, yeah, I know, of course.
He was poking at you.
That's pretty bad. I mean, I have to carry mace and a taser around, but yours is pretty bad too.
I mean, I already carry mace around.
Huh?
Yeah.
You were saying
it's been 2 years. It's still an issue where I feel physically threatened by him and his friends. I've told people in the comedy community. I went to I hate saying there might be backlash about this, but I talked to the police and I did not have enough evidence. Other women, I think, have talked to the police. And it's just an issue that I'm just going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I'm going to have to deal with this person. And
is it also that the women who do have evidence against this person have not gone to the police about it?
they got a little bit further, but not
Got it.
yeah. So this is like I feel like a lot of women in the comedy community has that person. They have one guy or multiple guys that they have to avoid. And then they're also like, that's
probably
we
true.
know a bunch of rapists. Like we know rapists that are in the comedy community. So like, I don't have time for like stupid ass beefs. I'm trying to keep track of who's going to hurt my bitches. You know what I mean?
Is there a more disproportionate number of like sexual misconduct and assault in comedy than like other fields? Like
we don't have an HR.
Yeah.
We don't have an HR. We don't have anyone to go to say like, hey, we don't have a union.
Yeah.
It's happened. A lot of this stuff came out in scientific communities at Berkeley, at Caltech, which was my alma mater. There were professors in these different departments that were like falling in love with their female grad students and freaking out when the feelings weren't reciprocated and ruining their fucking careers.
Oh my God.
Like ruining their careers in like astrophysics and shit. Like it's like insane what rejected men will go through and to
universal.
Like and so it's like
but
we don't, a lot of the
us.
reasons that we don't come forward is because of that retaliation and because we have fucking dreams. Like we want to do comedy too. We don't want our like careers to be trashed because of some dude's reaction.
You have to, it's like you always battle between
It's a balance.
Yeah, you battle between calling people out and being the strong person or being the cool chick and letting it slide because you know it will hurt you to a certain extent if you're always the person who's at war.
You're like, do I wait and like gain power and then come out against them when people will finally believe me because I have money and people?
What do you guys...
do I say something now and have my career ruined but like be believed from the beginning?
Yeah.
Maybe, or not believed, but
what do you guys think about what Chappelle said at the end of the second special?
Can you go into it again?
Revelation?
Yeah. Well, he was saying like if you wanted it bad enough, or if you left, you didn't want it bad enough.
Yeah, you didn't have the spirit or something. Like
I
the broken
100%
spirit.
understand why women quit everything. I 100% understand why women would leave comedy, even if they were super talented, even if they like loved it, even if it gave them joy. This shit is fucking hard and it's
Also,
tiring, and men don't have to deal with it or feel that fucking pain. And I understand Chappelle is a black man in the US. I understand that when a lot of people came out against him about his like supposedly transphobic comments, a lot of people were like, well, he's also a minority. He's also experienced these issues. I get that. But like, a lot of the guys that I know just don't understand the fucking onslaught of like exhaustion that we have to deal with every fucking day.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that exhaustion,
valid.
not even just like being a woman in comedy, but just like being a woman in the fucking world. Like
today and every day before.
You were in Saudi Arabia. The men were half naked doing Hajj, and it's like 110 degrees, and you're covered head to toe.
I'm wearing a phone booth.
You're wearing a phone booth, and people are getting mad at you because you have a few stragglers of like baby hair. Women.
But maybe misplaced guidance. Like we want your Hajj to get accepted. It's like okay, that's.
I will be in a fucking algorithms class at USC, and one of the professors will use an analogy of women doing the dishes in the kitchen. And then, like as an analogy of like the optimal amount to participate in like for this algorithm or whatever. And then, I mean, later he did say that women sent men to the moon, which is 100% true. But, but like it is like that shit even leaks into math, dude. That's great. Like I just want to do the problem without feeling like oppressed.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to leak into numbers?
Women were called computers, and now
go see Hidden Figures if you don't know the story. But that, like my day consists of this guy at work. He's newer, but he's older, so he's trying to like lay his claim and make a name for himself. And it's like I will present something. I'm like presenting something complicated, making it easier for everybody, like talking about business efficiencies, and he'll basically repeat what I'm saying and then say something clearly obvious that everybody in the room knows, like, yes, and the sky is blue. And then all the men in the room are like, yeah, he's right, the sky is blue. And I'm like, what the fuck, people?
You're just really good at improv.
This is all my work. And he just repeated exactly what I said and then added like a Captain Obvious comment to it. And now he gets all the credit for this amazing meeting that I put together. Like, what the fuck is... And this happens to me like all the time. And guys, you just don't realize the bullshit that we just go through existing and trying to live our lives to make the 71% of whatever percentage of the pie that we're making compared to you guys.
I also
so
I also want to talk about how cynical it is, the value that people put on human life and human experience, because I've heard these same excuses be used to eliminate the potential of people who are starving or people who are dying in other countries. Like, those people are just as capable of being like genius comedians or scientists or whatever, and we never got to see that because they never had a chance.
No resources.
And I hate when people say these women weren't funny enough or they couldn't have rivaled Louis, because you don't fucking know, because you never gave them a chance.
Well, it's not understanding the concept of privilege.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not saying, okay, yes, everybody works hard. You, in order to make it, you have to work hard. Like, Chappelle did jokes outside of the subway
the fucking
in
stage.
DC. He was homeless, Louis C.K. Like, everybody has a journey, but like, somebody helped you along the way. You got pulled up. And a lot of women, we get shot down so many times more than guys, and then the guys eventually get the opportunities to get pulled
Our
up.
stories need to be heard, basically.
Yeah,
And our
exactly.
struggles are valid. And
And there is redemption. Like, I loved Louis. I wanted him to address the issues. I wanted him to like better himself. I don't want society to banish everyone on this like scale of people who have done like horrible things or have made mistakes that they need to learn from. But there's got to be learning. Otherwise, these people, it's not a punishment. It's like trying to teach them how to function in society without hurting people.
let's evolve humanity.
We got really angry, but
I almost started crying.
With all that said, maybe Louis easing into that material. Maybe he's easing into that public apology or whatever. I think maybe he's like easing into like how to get to that material.
That's
I don't know,
optimistic.
but
I hope so.
I hope to hear about it. I really want to. I want to see it. Actually,
Yep, I would love if he figured that shit out.
yeah.
Okay. I'm Pallavi Ganalan. My social media is at PALLAVIGUNALAN.
I'm Zara Ali. My social media is really Zara, ZAHRA.
And I'm Fizaa Dasani. That is spelled FIZAADOSANI, and on all my stuff.
And our facial recognition comedy stuff is at Facial Recognition Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, at Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter. And also on our Patreon, you can get the videos from these podcasts and other fun incentives and that's patreon.com/facial recognition comedy. Please rate and review our podcast, and we'll enter you into a raffle for fun prizes.
Yay.
Okay, sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry.
Should we announce our date?
Oh, yes. We are going to be, so our show is the second Sunday of every month at Westside Comedy Theater at 9 p.m. In Santa Monica. But we also are going to be in Houston on the 21st of September.
That is a Friday night at 10 p.m. at the Secret Group.
The Secret Group.
Yep.
And then we're also going to be at Westside Comedy Club in New York on October 6th at 7 p.m.
That is on the Upper West Side. Go to our website, follow us on social media, and we'll give you the details.
Yay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.